This is Fantasy Baseball Today from CBSSports.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to an exclusive presentation of Fantasy Baseball Today for CBS Local Sports. I am Adam Azer, Scott White, Al Melchior. We're telling people who to start and who to sit in Fantasy Week 2. And let's begin with some starting pitchers that Al is starting this week. Go ahead, Al.
All right, well, we will start with Scott Kazmir.
You said the word enough.
Yeah. So you should be starting Kazmir up because, first of all, some people just might like Kazmir because of the great season debut that he had with the A's. But really, he's got a track record that extends back to late June, early May last year, where he's just pitched like just a top 25 pitcher in fantasy. So I think people don't perceive him as such yet, but you can start Kazmir pretty much in any league this week with 2 starts.
All right, Kyle Loesch is another guy that you like.
Yeah, not as much as Kazmir. So certainly in shower leagues, there are other pitchers, 1-star pitchers that I would rather be starting than Kyle Loesch. But in standard mixed leagues, 12-teamers, anything like that, or anything certainly deeper, I think Loesch is good to go this week because he's going to help you with ERA and WHIP like he always does. And with 2 starts, he's not going to hurt you in strikeouts, which is the main reason why you might hesitate to start Loesch in the first place. And I like his matchups.
There you go. So let's take a look now at a couple of starting pitchers that Al doesn't like so much this week. Al is sitting.
I am sitting for one Bartolo Colon. And I feel like, unlike where Kazmir, where people are sort of maybe catching up to how good he is, I feel like people maybe are still catching up to the fact that Bartolo Colon is probably not going to be as good as he was when he was with the A's.
So rude, Al.
Well, you know,
rude
if we're going to do a segment on pitchers we don't like, I'm going to wind up saying some things that maybe aren't that pleasant.
Part of being an analyst, I guess.
Yeah. So nothing personally against Bartolo Colon, but I just think that he's going to have a drop-off this year, going from the nice big ballpark he pitched in Oakland to Citi Field, which is maybe slightly hitter-leaning in recent years. So there, I think he's going to have, with these particular matchups, especially against the Braves, I think maybe kind of a rough go this week.
And how about Jose Quintana? 2 starts. One of them is at the dreaded Colorado.
And that's my reason. My main reason for being down Quintana. So I may be telling some people something that they're already leaning towards doing anyways because Quintana had sort of a rough spring. He had a so-so debut, so they might be a little bit hesitant to start Quintana anyway. But I think, especially with this start in Colorado, you wait till maybe week 3 before you think about getting Quintana active in most of your mixed leagues.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for your viewing pleasure, Scott White. Who does he like? Who doesn't he like? Scott is going to start Yan Gomes.
Yes, that's the first one. What you'll notice probably with the catcher hitting pool this year is that it's pretty deep. And Yan Gomes, who looked like a starting caliber option, if you play in a 1-catcher league, may have kind of been left out. And he could be someone, if you got one of the borderline ones that you look to in a week like this, when the Indians have good matchups like they do, when they're facing 5 left-handed pitchers like they are. Gomes was especially good against the lefties last year, 327 batting average, 934 OPS. So unless you have like a Mauer or Posey or Santana type, you might look into him.
Dexter Fowler, Scott's off to a real good start for the Astros, and you want to start him?
Yeah, he is, and he was last year too, had a great April. He's a guy who his performance seems to depend largely on his health. Right now he seems to be healthy, and he's producing as a result. In addition to the hot start, I really do like the matchups the Astros have this week. It's a 7-game schedule for them. They get the Angels 1 game, but then at Toronto against the Blue Jays pitching staff, which is a disaster, and at Texas, their staff has been decimated by injuries, so I expect them to keep it going.
Wow, we haven't even gotten to the doesn't like section, and we're saying negative things. See how this is working today? Very negative stuff. All right, here are some hitters that Scott doesn't like. This week, Fantasy Week 2, don't drop anybody here, but Justin Smoke. Now, he's been red hot. How can I sit Justin Smoke? He's the hottest hitter in baseball.
Here's how you can sit Justin Smoke.
Drag and drop.
Well, yeah, that's technically how you do it. But here's the reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
The Mariners are one of only 2 teams playing 5 games this week. Usually teams play 6 or 7 in a given week. And not only that, but 3 of those 5 are against left-handed pitchers. Smoke, a switch hitter, has typically fared better against righties in his career, and that's how he's done most of his damage so far this year. So, yeah, maybe pick him up and see where it goes, but don't stick him in your lineup just yet.
And we are getting a lot of questions about Billy Hamilton, who's off to a slow start. He's had some really tough matchups in week 1. It's not going to get much better in week 2.
It's not. In fact, I actually have the Reds with the very worst matchups. Listen to some of these pitchers they're facing: Michael Wacha, Lance Lynn, Shelby Miller, David Price, Alex Cobb, Matt Moore.
Ooh.
Not really a weak link
Yeah.
in the bunch there. And as awful as Hamilton has been so far, it's tiny sample, doesn't really mean much, but he's completely unproven, so he's given you no reason to stick with him when the matchups are that dreadful.
And we are live every Monday through Friday, noon Eastern Time, fantasynews.cbssports.com for Fantasy Baseball Today. We take your phone calls, we read your emails and your tweets. These guys have hitting and pitching columns, very helpful. Check them out on the website. This has been an exclusive presentation of Fantasy Baseball Today for CBS Local Sports. For Scott Wyatt and Al Melchior, I'm Adam Azer. Good luck in Week 2, everyone.